Hey everyone, I'm the Tom, welcome to my gaming channel. Today I'm playing another episode of Automation, the car company tycoon game, and it's the first time I'm playing it on Steam. Everyone get hyped. I know I said I would do one of those big buses that would do the Airfield Dragon Nest in 116 as requested by Gaming. Gaming. Can't remember his exact name. I apologize, but still, there are so many new body shells in this Steam version now. But first of all, let's start from the beginning. What has changed? First of all, you can see here this new main menu with some new icons, and that is obviously not all there is new. If we go here and create a new car, you can not only see that there are new body shells available, like a lot more body shells, but you can also see that we can kind of sort which bodies we want here by clicking one of these here. So we want... Actually, this is... I don't think this is working as intended, because this is supposed to mean, you know, front, mid-engined and mid-engined. No, actually rear-engined. Then this means mid-engined, I guess. And then that one means front-engined. It's kind of the other way around, if you ask me, because the little thing connecting to the front wheels here is presumably the steering wheel. But whatever. Since there are so many new body shells, and I think we should just start with the first one up here, and that is an SUV, which many of you guys probably have been waiting for a long time. And or if you're a new Automation user, then welcome to Automation, and I hope you enjoy this game. And I'm going to build an SUV right here. What can I actually change? Yeah, the roof line. Okay, back here nothing else. A little bit wider arches because we want the power, you know. And then we go to the fixtures section. No, actually, first of all, we need a chassis. We are going to go for a monocoque. Since this is an SUV, it doesn't really need aluminium or let alone a carbon fiber chassis material. We're going to go for transverse and then all-wheel drive probably. McPherson strut is probably the better choice, and then maybe solid axle coil. Excuse me. Or maybe we can go for a solid axle leaf. No, I think the coil is better for an SUV. Okay then, we are going to go for a corrosion resistant steel body panel material, and then we're gonna put some fixtures on this thing. Yeah, obviously we don't want a lip on this car, because if you're driving it off-road, you might just break it. And as you can see, there are plenty of headlight fixtures already in the game, and the whole arrangement here, the way this thing is organized, the way these sections are organized is different. Now you have the categories up top, and then here you have much more space for the individual fixtures in that category. This is a change I like. But for me, obviously, having played the car for what, like 2.5 years with the old system, it took a while to get used to, but anyway, we're gonna put a grill on here. We're gonna start by putting one down here, because this is gonna be the bottom grill here. Make sure it's not at the very bottom. Then we're gonna put some additional vents on the side of it. And some fog lights in here. I know this is not very 2015-ish, because those round circular fog lights don't exist that much anymore. Everyone nowadays has LED fog lights, but I don't really care. So we need a number plate holder, which we're gonna put like here. And also we need some headlights. Now we have a good amount of headlight fixtures here already. We can use like these or something like that. And then we can use one grill to connect those two headlight fixtures, which is something pretty common these days. If you look at the Range Rover, or if you look at the new Suzuki Vitara, they all have the grill connecting the two headlights. And we might also put some chrome in there by selecting another grill, but one of these, and we need one that is full of chrome, like this one. We want one in the middle. Yeah, it's for simplicity's sake, let's go for one in the middle. So now if you want a badge on your car, you can find it here. For now we're just gonna put the automation badge on here. And that is our first kind of simplistic SUV. I will go back to more detailed car designs in the future, but this is a video for people who are not familiar with automation yet, and I wanna just see how it works. The door, every car needs door handles unless they have like keyless go or something like that. But since there's no option to put that into the game yet, or to select it in the game yet, I should say, we're just gonna put some regular old door handles on it. Then we're gonna put some side indicators down, because we also need those. And every car needs taillights, so that's what we're gonna do next. I don't love the idea of putting these down, those kind of Supra-ish taillights. We could just... I don't really love any of these taillight arrangements. Let's just... We could go for these right here. Or we could build some new ones, or make our own taillights, which we can do by selecting multiple fixtures and putting them together. For example, we can do something like this right here, put it right here, and then we can select another one of these and connect it with the first one. And then we can choose how we want to connect those into. We can like put one of these here, and then put another one down that goes upwards. And now we're gonna fill the blank space out by putting down one of those white tail lights. And then maybe, I think a circular one will fill the space here better. If we just adjust it a little bit. Okay, now we have some custom taillights. We should adjust this a little bit more. And also, I noticed that the music changed a little bit, at least. It now sounds a little bit more high quality and all that stuff. And we're going to put one of these badges down here, or maybe even up here. And then we can make a fine rear arrangement by putting down one of these and running a chrome strip along it, which we're gonna find in this again, and that is actually, I don't like it that much. Whatever, we are also going to put some indicators into our custom taillight arrangement. And I think the space we want to use for that is probably like right here. Obviously, pretty much any car needs exhaust, unless it's an electric car, in which case it doesn't. I mean, you can say it doesn't create any emissions, but that's what they tell us, at least. Put down one of these grills for a nice rear bumper. Maybe we also want some braking lights down here, so in case we do, we put some of these down. And we need a number plate on the rear end as well, but I think we are going to put it in this general area, because otherwise the middle section of this rear end is kind of empty because it's so big. And that is it for that is going to be the design for now. On the next tab we have our color picker. You can see that I have some custom colors, but here, this one for example, I don't like, so I'm going to select a new color here. I use this wheel on the outside and it makes some weird noises, but I hope they'll change. And let's go for something a little bit, no, not like this. Maybe like this red? Maybe like a deep green though. Okay, and now once you can choose whatever color you want, obviously, and once you've decided which color you want to use, you right click on the field of the color you want to replace it with. For example, I want to replace this deep red. You right click and now you can see that this color has been saved in this position. Since this is an SUV, we are going to go for an all-wheel drive setup, and we are going to give it a V8 if we can. Cast iron or aluminium. Nobody builds cast iron engines anymore these days, so neither should we. It should have a high stroke and a little bit lower bore. Let's make this like a 4.2 liter with a single overhead cam and 4 valves per cylinder. Actually, nobody builds single overhead cams anymore these days. Let's go dual overhead cam with 4 valves per cylinder and no BBL. So the next thing we're gonna do is choose our crank material. Basically what we've done on this tab is create an engine family. On the next tab we can basically set how this first quote-unquote family member of the engine family is supposed to be configured. We want forged steel for this car. On the crank, forged H-beam. I think I-beam steel is the correct choice here, and forged pistons. We leave the capacity the same here, but we can adjust this downwards to a certain minimum size here. Like the smallest we can make this engine go is about 2.9 liters. But for now we're gonna stick with the 4.2 liters, which is like, you know, talking about engine families, this is the mother of this engine family. You can see that you can adjust pretty much all the relevant stats of an engine that there are here. You can choose the compression ratio, and if you hover your mouse, actually if you click on compression, it shows you a sort of you know, a tooltip what compression actually means. If you're not familiar with how an engine works, that goes for pretty much anything on your car. If I click on crank or conrods or pistons, variant capacity, it goes for everything. You can have tips on every single section you want, and I think that makes it very user-friendly for new users that are not familiar with engines yet. Back to our engine though, we want a little bit lower cam profile because we want better low-end performance. It's going to be a low revving engine. I think like 30 should be fine here. We want a turbocharger with an air-to-air, no, actually water-to-air intercooler and ball bearing setup. Since we said it was gonna be a low revving engine, we want the turbo to spool up as early as possible, which you can see here. The red line is, you know, the effective what the turbo will actually deliver, and the effective boost, as it's called here, and the theoretical boost is how much it could deliver with your current setup. And as I adjust these, you know, the compressor, the turbine, those graphs change. And I also think this is pretty good for fine-tuning, because you can already see the results as you're fine-tuning. Next up we have the fuel system tab, which in this case we're going to go for a direct injection with a single configuration and standard intake. We're going to run it on premium fuel, because that's kind of standard here in Europe. And we go for pretty high ignition timing because we want to make our power early. And then we choose dual exhausts with max power 62 horsepower. I don't think we're gonna make more than that, so that should be fine. We want a high flow catalytic converter to show that we stay in tune with the times. And we can now run the engine and listen to it. Beautiful. Okay. I'm not gonna do that much more fine-tuning. I just want the fuel octane run to be as close to 95 as we can make it. Just so it gets the most out of the fuel we use. So 9.7 compression ratio, 9.7 to 1 compression ratio is gonna be it. Then we can save this engine variant as the first of all, we can give this engine family a name. That is an SUV V8. That is a very creative name, and we are going to name this variant of the SUV V8 family the 4.2 liter turbo. Okay, this saves automatically, so there's no save button anymore after you're done with a car or anything like that. We're going to go for an automatic gearbox with 6 ratios, because I think that's the most realistic. We want a diff that is well suited for off-road, so we should go for... Well, an electric LSD is the best option, but look at the material cost here, it's very expensive. So I think a manual locker should do it. We can always come back to that later. We can also adjust the power distribution on the all-wheel drive system. Probably like want it 40 front, 60 rear. We're going to adjust this the gearing a little bit later. We obviously want chunky off-road tires with high profile. How much do we have right now? Okay, we can go for probably like 17s here. Or how much bigger can we make the wheels? 720, okay. 18 inch? 18 inch is still fine. We want a little bit wider tires, like 225s, in order to put the power down appropriately. Maybe even 235s, but not much more than that. We can make sure they are precisely underneath the fenders by offsetting the rims a little bit, so that they look in line here. We don't want these rims, we want different ones. For example, these ones right here, or those, or these. I think we're gonna go for these. Okay, now we are going to change our first of all, our rim material. Alloy, because nobody has steel rims anymore, unless you buy an extremely cheap car. You want solid disc brakes with like 4 pistons in the front, because this thing is going to be heavy. 300 millimeters should definitely do the job on the front, and then we're gonna go for 3 pistons in the rear with a little bit less, because we have a little bit less weight back there. I don't think this car needs any sort of under tray, because it's not supposed to go like very fast. We also don't need to adjust this aero inclination, because we don't have any lips or wings on the car. But we can adjust the cooling airflow, because it's too much right now. Much do we require? We require 261.1, so let's get it a little bit above, or quite a lot above that, to be honest. But we're also gonna add some brake airflow. Go for 5 seats with a premium type interior, with standard infotainment, all driver aids, and advanced safety features, because this car is going to be an effing tank. Now, what are we What are we gonna set this car up with? What kind of suspension? Let's see. What is good for off-road? Hydropneumatic. Pneumatic. Or active comfort. Yeah, that's also good for comfort, as the name might suggest. Let's then go for adaptive dampers and passive sway bars, and the preset off-road suspension setting. And then we have our results right here. This car weighs 2.25 tons. It has a little bit of brake fade, so we should probably go for a little bit better or more cooling airflow, I think is what this suggests. Let's see if that's changed. Yes, minus 2.9 instead of minus 3.6. You can also see that our safety is absolutely ridiculous. Almost 80. Our sportiness is low, just as we expected. The car does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8.3 seconds. And it can't do the standing kilometer? Or does it just take too long for anyone to really try out? We can now adjust our gearing now that we have adjusted the cooling a little bit earlier. We want it to go so that third gear goes over 100. And then we can see that this does it in 7.6 seconds. And we can also run it on this track that you may or may not be familiar with. Listen to that V8 sound, isn't it glorious? And on the track stats, you can see that this time that this thing is actually not that slow around the track. And once you're done watching it and listening to it, you can just click the stop button, and now we should definitely give this thing a name. SUV. In the first stream, that is the 4.2. Okay. And you don't need to save this anymore. It's saved automatically. And if you wanna go ahead and say you wanna do a new trim of this version, or let's call this the 4.2 standard. Now we're gonna go to clone this trim, and you can see that we have something called trim 1 here, and we can give this thing maybe like an electric LSD. Let's make it like a premium version of the car, right? We want 19-inch rims, 245 section tires. We want a little bit bigger brakes. We want still no under tray actually. And luxury interior, luxury infotainment, launch control, because why not? The suspension is probably gonna stay the same, and now we can see that we have different stats here. We have this thing now weighs 2.4 tons, is even safer now, has 61.2 comfort. That is absolutely nothing to sneeze at, and it now does 0 to 100 kilometers now in 8 seconds. But we can also change the engine here by cloning it as well, and by clicking on this button. We have variant 1 here. Now we can say we want this thing to be a little bit faster as it's the premium version. So let's increase the red line to 6500. And we are going to increase the compressor size here. And the AR ratio, which is gonna make our car a lot stronger. Because we want to increase the boost slightly, we have to lower the compression a little bit. Can't have it all. Yeah, 0.85 bars seems reasonable. Maybe a little bit bigger turbine as well. 330 horsepower, I think that's a big enough difference. So let us now save this variant as the 4.2 liter turbo, or let's say the 4.2 liter premium. Okay, we can run this as well to test it a little bit. 280 Newton meters right on idle, which is more than many, you know, cheap cars make at all. Even diesels. So we are going to see how this affects the car overall, how it affects the top speed. Well, it's not that much better, to be honest with you. It weighs a little bit more, but it'll also make it faster. 7.1 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. 141.08 on this 2.4 ton SUV. Alright, and now we saved. Now that we were happy with the second trim, we save it as the premium trim. And that is how automation works now. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial on what automation is like. If you did, please click the like button, it helps out a great deal. Also consider subscribing if you want to see more content in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.